In the far reaches of the galaxy, many alien species had heard of humans, but none truly understood them. The Vicar Empire, a powerful and ancient race that ruled over hundreds of star systems, looked down on humans and dismissed them as creatures without a soul. To the Vicar, a soul was not just a feeling or spirit. It was a real source of power, energy that fueled their advanced technology and gave their warriors strength. Every race they knew had this energy, this soul power, but humans were believed to be empty, only flesh and mind, without the deeper essence that made others strong. Because of this belief, the Vicar had never taken humans seriously and had left Earth alone for centuries. That all changed when something strange happened. Near the edge of the galaxy in a dark region called the Duskfield Sector. There, a mysterious object known as the beacon suddenly began to glow with an intense light. This light was not ordinary. It shone with an energy that only beings with souls could sense. The Vicar, curious and cautious, sent their fleets to investigate, expecting to find another race trying to claim the beacon's power. Instead, they found humans already there. And more shocking to them, the beacon began to shine brighter in response to the humans' presence. The Vicar commander, Lord Cern, was stunned. How could this be? They had always believed that humans had no soul, no energy that could interact with the beacon. The light from the beacon was meant to respond only to beings with soul power. But now it shone like a blazing fire, fueled by something the Vicar did not understand. This discovery shattered their beliefs and sparked fear. What if humans were not the weak, soulless animals they thought? What if there was something inside humans that made them stronger than anyone expected? This fear led the Vicar to prepare for war, bringing their massive fleet to confront the humans and claim the beacon's power for themselves. At the heart of this unfolding conflict stood Captain Arya Holt, commander of one of humanity's most advanced warships, the Solaris Blade. Arya was a determined and brave leader, shaped by loss and hope. She had lost her sister in a previous raid by the Vicar, a pain that drove her to fight harder for her people. She knew that humanity had always been underestimated, considered fragile or reckless by other races. But she also believed humans had something unique, something no one else had truly understood. As her ship moved through the cold darkness of space, Arya prepared her crew for the battle ahead. The enemy fleet was large and powerful. Dreadnoughts and destroyers, heavily armed and built to crush any opposition. But Arya was confident. She ordered her ship's weapons to be readied: plasma spears, deadly beams of energy, and something unusual called soul blades, advanced weapons that could interact with the beacon's mysterious energy. Her ship hummed with power, glowing faintly as if alive. Arya knew that the fight was not just about weapons or ships. The beacon had connected to her mind in a way she could barely understand, filling her with strength and a strange energy. The connection was risky, but it was also a sign that humans were different, that they had a soul in a way no one had seen before. This soul was not just raw power. It was tied to emotions, memories, and hope, things that made humans fight not just for survival, but for love and for the future. The battle began with a furious clash. The Vicar fired their soul lances, beams of concentrated soul energy, trying to break through the human defenses. But the human ships were faster and more unpredictable, dodging attacks with skill and striking back with clever tactics. Arya's ship led the charge, moving boldly through enemy lines. Her crew worked like a well-oiled machine, their trust in her and in each other giving them strength. On the front lines, other humans showed their courage and skill. Ravi Chen, a talented pilot, flew his fighter directly into the heart of a Vicar warship, risking everything to create a chance for his allies. Tasha Ryle, a fierce marine, led a team to board enemy ships, fighting hand-to-hand with Vicar soldiers, using the glowing soul blades that seemed to burn with the power of the beacon. Every moment was filled with danger, loss, and fierce determination. The Vicar soldiers could not understand the source of this new power. They yelled that humans had no soul, calling them nothing but beasts, but the humans kept fighting, their weapons and their will burning brighter with every attack. The strange energy from the beacon flowed through the humans, healing wounds, powering weapons, and filling them with an unbreakable spirit. Through the chaos of battle, Arya realized that this was more than just a war for territory or power. It was a fight to prove what it meant to have a soul. The Vicar saw soul as energy to control, but humans showed that soul was more than that. It was the feelings, memories, and hopes that kept them alive and strong. This realization gave Arya and her people the courage to keep fighting against impossible odds. The stage was set for a war that would change the galaxy forever. The humans, once thought to be soulless, were proving they carried something far greater inside them, and with that spark, they were ready to face the coming storm. The battle between the humans and the Vicar erupted into a fierce storm of light and fire in the endless dark of space. The Vicar, confident in their soul-powered weapons, unleashed devastating attacks with their soul lances, bright deadly beams that tore through space like bolts of lightning. Their dreadnoughts and destroyers pushed forward, trying to crush the human fleet with overwhelming force. But the humans fought with a speed and ferocity that surprised even themselves. Their ships darted and weaved through the enemy's fire, using smart weapons like EMP torpedoes that could disable the Vicar's systems and quantum disruptors that scrambled their technology. The Solaris Blade, Captain Arya Holt's flagship, became a blazing comet, glowing with a strange energy that pulsed in time with the beacon's light. This energy wasn't just from the ship's engines or weapons, it was coming from Arya herself. Through the mysterious link formed with the beacon, her mind was channeling a powerful energy that no one had ever seen before. Her connection gave the Solaris Blade strength beyond normal limits, making it faster, stronger, and almost alive. Despite warnings from her ship's AI, Vox, that this power was dangerous and unstable, Arya pushed forward without hesitation. Every moment counted. Around her, other humans were fighting just as fiercely. Ravi Chen, a skilled pilot, threw himself headlong into battle, crashing his fighter into the heart of a Vicar capital ship to break their defenses. Tasha Ryle, a marine glowing with beacon energy, led a daring boarding mission, her soul blade cutting through enemy soldiers with a fierce determination born of love and loss. Each battle cry, each sacrifice, seemed to feed the beacon's light, making it brighter and more alive. The Vicar soldiers were confused and terrified. They screamed that humans had no soul, calling them monsters without value. But as they saw the humans survive blast after blast, strike back with weapons that burned with a strange energy, and fight with an unbreakable spirit, their confidence began to crack. The humans were not the empty creatures the Vicar had imagined. They bled, they loved, they hoped, and that made them stronger than any soul-powered technology. Amid the chaos of the fight, Arya experienced something incredible. The connection to the beacon pulled her mind into a place beyond time and space, where she saw visions of humanity's past and future. She saw her sister's smile, frozen in time before she died. She saw a child's innocent drawing on a cold wall, a symbol of hope in dark times. She witnessed a soldier holding his dying friend, refusing to let go. She felt the gentle touch of a mother's hand reaching through years and stars. These memories were not just her own. They belonged to countless humans, all connected through the beacon. It showed her that the beacon wasn't just a source of energy, it was a keeper of stories, emotions, and memories. It fed not on power alone, but on the meaning behind that power, the love, the pain, the hope that defined humanity. This revelation changed Arya. She understood now why the Vicar had been wrong about humans. They had measured soul as something cold and technical, a tool for power and control. But humans carried their soul in their hearts and minds, in every memory and every feeling. That was the true power of the beacon, and the true strength of humanity. When Arya returned to the battle, her resolve was stronger than ever. She knew that they were fighting not just to win a war, but to prove that humanity's soul was real and powerful in a way the galaxy had never seen. With this newfound strength, the humans fought on. The Solaris Blade led the charge deeper into enemy lines, her weapons glowing with the energy of the beacon. The Vicar fleet, once confident and unshakable, began to falter. Their soul-powered technology failed to match the humans' unpredictable and fierce spirit. Every human warrior, pilot, and captain gave everything they had, knowing that this battle would decide the fate of their home and the future of the galaxy. The fight was brutal and filled with loss, but it also revealed the heart and soul of humanity, something no machine or weapon could ever destroy. Through fire and fury, Arya and her crew showed the galaxy what it meant to have a soul. Not just a cold source of energy, but a burning light made of memories, love, and hope. The war had only just begun, but already the Vicar were learning a terrifying truth. Humans were far more than they had ever imagined, and that truth would shape the fate of the stars. As the war dragged on, the Vicar grew desperate. Their once mighty fleet was breaking apart under the fierce human resistance, and their commanders were struggling to understand the strange power fueling the humans. The beacon's light, now shining like a blazing sun, was linked directly to Captain Aria Holt and her ship, the Solaris Blade. It pulsed with the strength of every human soul fighting in the battle, their hopes and fears, woven into a powerful energy no one could control. The Vicar realized that to win, they had to destroy the beacon, and with it, the human spirit that had come alive across the stars. In a last-ditch effort, the Vicar fleet formed a massive assault force, intending to crush the Solaris Blade in one overwhelming strike. Their flagship, a colossal warship called the Dreadmaw, led the charge, its weapons charged with the strongest soul lances ever created. The battlefield became a storm of light and sound, with ships firing everything they had, explosions lighting up the darkness. The Solaris Blade took the brunt of the attack, shields glowing under the strain of countless hits. Arya stood on the bridge, her heart pounding, knowing that this fight would decide everything. But this was no ordinary battle. The connection between Arya and the beacon had grown so strong that the energy around her seemed almost alive. She felt the memories and feelings of all humanity flowing through her. Pain, love, courage, and sacrifice. It was as if the souls of millions stood behind her, pushing her forward. She closed her eyes for a moment, reaching deep inside herself, calling on that power. Then, with a shout, she gave the command to unleash the Solaris Blade's secret weapon, the Soulstorm Cannon. This weapon was unlike any other, a beam of pure soul energy, focused and amplified by the beacon's light. The Soulstorm Cannon fired, a brilliant streak of glowing energy that tore through the Dreadmaw's defenses, like a knife through silk. The Vicar flagship exploded in a spectacular burst of fire, its soul lances flickering out one by one. The rest of the Vicar fleet, seeing their leader destroyed, began to retreat, their fear and disbelief shaking their ranks. They had been defeated not by superior technology, but by something far deeper, the true power of the human soul. Yet, victory came with a price. The intense connection to the beacon was draining Arya's life force. She could feel her strength fading, the memories and feelings that had sustained her slipping away. Her crew gathered around her, trying to keep her conscious, but she knew her time was short. With her last breath, Arya spoke to her crew, urging them to continue the fight for humanity's future, to never forget what they had discovered. That humans were not empty shells, but beings full of soul, hope, and endless strength. As the Solaris Blade drifted quietly through space, a calm settled over the battlefield. The beacon's light dimmed, but did not go out. It remained as a shining symbol of humanity's soul, a reminder to all that humans carried within them something no enemy could destroy. The galaxy, once filled with doubt and fear about humans, now looked upon them with respect and awe. The Vicar, humbled by their defeat, retreated to rethink their beliefs, while other alien races began to see humanity in a new light. The story of the beacon and Captain Aria Holt spread across star systems, inspiring countless beings. Humans had faced overwhelming odds, fought with courage and heart, and had revealed a power beyond any technology. Their soul was real, not just a myth or a weakness, but a source of hope and strength that could change the galaxy. And though Arya was gone, her spirit lived on, in every human who stood up to fight, in every story told, and in the shining light of the beacon that would guide them through the darkness ahead. The war was not over, but the lesson was clear. Humans had a soul, and that soul was their greatest weapon. No matter the challenge, no matter the enemy, their spirit would endure, burning bright like a star that could never be extinguished.